CPO Zoom meeting. It's not zooming.
Are you going to zoom.crhrc.org?
Yes, I am. It just goes to the web page. It doesn't go straight to the meeting. It's asking for the ID and all that stuff.
Let me send you a quick email here and see if it'll work for you. Hey, Darren, can you send the link to TechNet at CRHRC.org? He should be able to get that link if you send it to him.
Here, who am I sending it to?
Well, you can send it to Phil if you have his email address, W5CPO, or you can send it to TechNet at CRHRC.org. That'll get to him.
Yep, no problem.
Bill, I used the email from Bill that he sent, I believe, earlier today that it has the TechNet link in it. This is KI5UZY.
For whatever reason, that email is not showing up on this computer.
Well, I don't know, Phil. We'll go ahead and get started here. I sent it to the TechNet, so you should have that link. You just click on that link, it should open your Zoom to it. Okay, we'll get it covered. Good evening, everybody. UST, QST, good evening. This is Bill. My call is K5LK. Welcome to the Crossroads Ham Radio Club's TechNet number 3 on the W5LCR linked repeater system. If anyone has emergency or priority traffic at any time during this net, please call break, give your call sign, and the net control operator will recognize you and handle your traffic. This TechNet meets on the first Wednesday of every month, starting at 8 p.m. local time, and is simulcast on the Crossroads Ham Radio Club linked repeater system covering South Central and Southeast Texas. We employ a variety of technology options allowing connectivity to the system. Right? For a complete list of our repeaters with frequencies, offsets, tones, and supported modes, please visit our website at www.crhrc.org. That's www.crhrc.org. You can also find TechNet information located at www.technet.crhrc.org. www.technet.crhrc.org. Tonight's net's being logged in real time over the internet using the net logger. We'd like to thank Phil, W5CPO, for being tonight's net logger and helping me with the check-ins. For tonight's TechNet session, we will also be on Zoom. If you'd like to follow along with the group on Zoom, you can join us by going to www.zoom.crhrc.org. That's www.zoom.crhrc.org. And everybody on Zoom, if you can mute your microphones, please. And then Robert, KB5B PM, how's the audio sounding tonight?
Everything sounds okay to me. Everybody in Zoom, you hearing it okay? Just send a yes in the chat room. KB5PBM.
Yep. Darren says it's good audio, so here we go. Thanks again, Robert, for doing that. Now, we're going to check in tonight several ways. We've already had the early check-ins. You can do that by NetLogger, simply by connecting to the Crossroads Ham Radio Club session, and NetLogger will be seeing you in the monitoring tab. And either Darren or Phil will get those into the chat for us. Also, once NetLogger sees you listed there, you will automatically be checked in for the net. You can also check in by joining us on Zoom if you wish, using the CRHRC Tech Net Zoom, which we mentioned earlier. That's www.zoom.crhrc.org. Once in the Zoom session, just type in your call sign or your name, followed by check-in, example W5LCR-check-in or Bill-check-in, and we'll get you logged in. Finally, if you're not connected via NetLogger or Zoom, we will take check-ins on the repeater system. Okay, moving on here, we're fixing to go to the open session tonight. We talked about this the last month. We want to try an open session and see how that works. Any topic or question around amateur radio technology, equipment, antennas, logging, field operation will come on. So we'll take those first on the RF side, and then if you have one in Zoom, just put it in the chat section, and we'll be glad to address it. We're going to make this kind of a group forum tonight, see how it goes with the open forum, and then we will go from there. As we've talked about in our great newsletter, you know, if you've got new equipment, new radios, new antennas, you'd like to ask a question about or show them off, be glad to on the net tonight. We'll talk about it. First, I wanted to talk, as you may have seen in the newsletter or heard it on the Crosslink repeater.
Your lips are moving, but nothing's coming across the radio.
AG5IAZ. I also have no audio coming in.
I think I heard I just timed out. Might have to repeat a little bit of that.
We didn't hear much. Not much came across, Bill. You dropped out right after you started.
Uh-oh. Thank you, Brian. Can you hear me now? Making the net okay? K5LK, tonight's Tech Net.
It's almost like your HT's timing out for you because the system's not timing out. It's you.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll go. We'll keep it a little short here. Thanks for the feedback. Okay. Just we're talking about any new equipment anybody's got, maybe like the Yaesu FT710 portable operations. Anybody worked with that radio or similar radios? They may want to talk about what you could do with it. I'd like to hear it now. K5LK and TechNet number 3. Oh, somebody's going to have to break the ice. Come on. I know we got some folks that work portable and they know somebody's got that FT710 or equivalent radio they like to talk about.
Everybody was naughty.
All right, anybody, if we're not gonna go with that, if anybody got any questions or topics around any type of new equipment they've got, new antennas, new operating procedure, kind of let's break the ice and get her going. This is K5LK, Net Control for tonight's Tech Net number 3.
W5BSA with a question.
There we go. I knew somebody would help us. Go ahead, Joe. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Bill and Annette. Well, I heard Brenda talking this afternoon about her accomplishments with education and amateur radio, and it got me wanting to ask the net in general and particularly get a response from her. And so here's my question. I have a 10-year-old grandson, and I've been trying to encourage him to get his ham license. So I'd like to ask those, remember, 10 years old, so he's a fifth grader in elementary school. And so I'd like recommendations for best ways to study for the technician test. I've heard some people do it online. I've heard there's apps. I've heard some people say, oh, no, you need a book. So I'm going to leave it there and would like to get some responses for the best way to teach elementary age, early junior high students, best way to get them encouraged and give them the best opportunity to get their ham technician ticket.
All right, great question, Joe. Get some new people into the hobby, in particular elementary age young folks. What's the best way to help them get their tech license? I'm sure we've got some thoughts in the group here tonight. Yeah, 5YOL. We had a double there. Try it again. KI5YOL. Got it. YOL. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have experience specifically with that topic. I spent quite a bit of time with teaching and training third, fourth, and fifth grade boys. And the best thing I can tell you is they've got to be hands-on. Don't put a book in their hands. Nine out of 10 of them are not going to learn from a book or online. They want to do it. They want to see somebody doing it and showing it to them. This old axiom that we used was see, hear, do, teach. So if they see it happen and then they do it and then they try it themselves and then they teach it, they've got it. So like I said, as hands-on as you can get it, the better they'll learn it.
Okay, thank you for those comments. I guess you're thinking what I'm hearing is there maybe find an Elmer that can kind of help them, showing the equipment, show them how they're operating, getting on the air, and then help them get their technician license.
Yeah, 5YOL. That's exactly what I'm going with. They want somebody to come alongside them and do it with them.
All righty, good comments. Anyone else about maybe some ways that you've used or known that can help younger people get their technician license?
This is KJ5ADO. So I don't have any students that have gotten their technician license yet. We're going to test in February, so fingers crossed. But I totally agree with the last person. You've got to do activities with them. You can't just hand them a book or even tell them go on a website. Now, of course, they need that as well, but you show them all the fun and cool things and just kind of sneak the parts, the electronic parts and the types of antennas, and just kind of sneak that in on them. And they'll hopefully, we're going to be successful here in another month or so.
Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate it. Good evening to you. Again, this is K5LK. I'm Net Control and Tech Net number 3. Here we got some more comments how to help young people get into our hobby and get their technician license, some experience, maybe what to do, what not to do. We've had some great ones so far. We'd love to talk about that for a few minutes if we could.
I have one more suggestion. When you do give them a book or put them online, there's a book out there. I can put it in the chat. We actually had some donated to us by one of the Crossroads Club members, and it kind of is just more like notes. It's a real thin little book, and it's notes, so it's not real overwhelming, and it just shows them the right answers on the test. So their eyes, when they take the test, are just drawn to that correct answer instead of being confused by all the other wrong answers. So just a suggestion, KJ5 ADO.
Thank you, Brenda. If you could put that in the chat, then we'll send it out to the through the newsletter or through the meeting email. That would be great. Appreciate it. Joe, got any other thoughts about that question? See if we can get some more comments. W5BSA, K5LK, and TechNet number 3.
Thank you, Bill. W5BSA here. Appreciate all that input. That makes a lot of sense. So let's expand the age bracket. Any newly licensed technician class ham that might be on the air last night, or any friends of yours that recently became licensed. Maybe let me try being a little bit more specific. The kids, like including my grandson, they live on the phone and they live on their iPads. So is there maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more. Is there an app? Is there a phone app of some type, or anybody used a particular online? And I'm going to even make it more specific than that. A particular application for a phone to study for the test. And also, my understanding is that the technician class license now is composed of 30 questions. So with that, let's see if I can get a few more helpful hints. Appreciate it, everybody. W5BSA, back to Net.
This is KJ5 ADO again. I am a new ham myself, and I use hamstudy.org on my phone, on my tablet, and I use that for both my technician and my general license.
W5ITZ.
Over to you, Bill. W5ITZ. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I'd just like to follow Brenda's comment. If the students are going to be using electronic testing, then the test application is written by the hamstudy.org group. So I like to recommend that one as well, because if they see the electronic testing, it'll be very, very similar, almost identical in format to what they studied. And I think the hamstudy.org is a top-notch study utility myself. W5ITZ.
All right. Thank you, Bill, for those comments. Anyone else before we move on? We'll close out this question to help new people to our hobby get their license. Any tried and true ways that you've used or heard people use, either young people or people that are a little older, whatever might work. You might want to hear.
IDO with a comment. KJ5. How do you read me on this handheld?
We got about 3 at a time there. I got a little bit of 2 or 3 folks. Can the last person that says how you read you on the handheld, do you have a comment?
Yeah, this is KJ5DRO. It's David. Yes, I'm new to the craft and I studied all kinds of apps, but the ham study, just as Brenda said, is probably the best app. And like Bill said, it's the closest to the exam that we did. I studied pretty hard for about 10 days, and I only missed 1 question on the test. So that's probably your best app to use. Very friendly.
Thank you, David. Appreciate those comments. Excellent. Okay, I think we had a couple other folks that had little information for us around getting new hams into the hobby and get them their technician license.
W5 CPO.
W5 CPO, go ahead.
When I was a youngster, a while back, what got me interested in radio was electronics. So maybe push electronics. There's so much there that will catch somebody's interest, maybe get them going in it.
All right, thank you, Phil. Excellent. Okay, let's unless somebody else says something on this topic, let's go ahead and move over to some other tech topics here. Anybody else have anything on this around getting new people their technician license?
KB5 PBM.
Didn't quite catch it. Sorry, the KB5 call. You're pretty quick on me.
I apologize. KB5 PBM. I just say invite them to the Zoom session. You don't have to be licensed to listen. So just get them in the Zoom session, let them check it out, see what they think. Back to you, KB5 PBM.
5 SIJ.
Thank you for Robert. Yep, that's part of the goals I think we have here is to have the Zoom along with the RF net to get more people get a little peek at the hobby and how they can get active. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Over to Josh. Good evening, sir. KI5SIJ, K5LK, and TechNet number 3. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Well, listening to the conversation and the question that was posed, I do have a recommendation that may help a little bit. And it kind of goes along with everything else that everybody else has said, but the hands-on part is crucial when you're dealing with youth. And one of the easy ways you may be able to really create an interest to pursue getting like a technician license for a youth would be to actually get a GMRS license for the family and put a GMRS radio in their hand and let them talk on GMRS for a little while. And that would be a great entry point into getting into technician license there for the youth.
Good comments, Josh. Appreciate that. I've heard about GMRS and some families getting licensed and then spread out to ham radio. Thanks for bringing that to us. Excellent idea.
AR3 IDO, this is Reed. Name's Reed. The comment.
Okay, Reed, go ahead, sir. Good to hear you this evening. How you doing?
Thank you, sir. Doing great, and appreciate the net as always. Hey, I am HT Mobile right now with 2 almost 12-year-old girls in the truck here, and we were having this conversation as the net took hold today. So I just wanted to highlight that as they heard hands-on, both of their eyes lit up and their heads shake and said, yes, hello. So, yes, hands-on is definitely the approach I've taken. Also some Raspberry Pi work and stuff like that to get the electronics fired up. And as the last station commented there, GMRS, that's kind of how we started here. They were raised with the CB radio in the background and communicating on channel 22 of GMRS around the neighborhood. So just wanted to highlight those things. Hamstudy.org is probably where they'll be pre-testing and all that good stuff at. But thank you again. KR3 IDO, this is Reed.
Thank you, Reed. Good comments. Really appreciate it. Thanks for checking in and your feedback tonight. Again, this is Bill, K5LK, Net Control for TechNet number 3. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about equipment, antennas, operating, propagation. You know, when we did the survey this summer, there were probably at least 50 different topics of all sorts. So let's throw some things out there tonight that people want to talk about. Got some questions or thoughts about certain technologies operating in our hobby?
W5CPO. I just brought up the propagation map for VHF, and there is none. Propagation normally on VHF is in the morning, about half hour before sunrise. Goes about maybe about an hour after sunrise, and during these cold months or the winter months, there isn't much propagation to be had for VHF. Once summertime rolls around, especially if you're close to the water, propagation picks up quite a bit. Can go all day, can go for a couple of days at a time. I've talked this far on 2-meter sideband from here to Georgia, and no repeaters, nothing, just simplex, and it's a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch of us. I've got like a little over 40 contacts on sideband, 2-meter sideband. So if you got a radio that does that, you might want to check it out.
Yeah, good comments, Phil. Yeah, this summer and getting into this fall has been some of the best VHF, UHF propagation on simplex we've had in a long time, and I hear that is really a fun part of the hobby. There's quite a bit of tropospheric ducting I know what's going on, and I had some records set in the last UST. Great comments. Anybody else want to contribute to the propagation discussion here for a bit? One thing I'll add, I got a Christmas present called Ham Clock, and Ham Clock is an awesome, very inexpensive ham radio tool, and you can use it on a Raspberry Pi or one of these Innovatos, and it is awesome. I've got it set up here in my shack. I use it to spot DX clusters, to get sunspot, time, weather conditions, all types of things. So I'm really starting to dig into that quite a bit and learned a lot. You can set the DX clusters and the spots if you work in HF. I like the 5-LAN. Somebody just worked a Hawaii station out of the 5-LAN here on 5.3 megahertz, and it is just an awesome. So if anybody wants to know more about that Ham Clock, be glad to have some discussion. That is a cool little program, and that and the equipment is very inexpensive.
AI5 IOL with comment.
Yep, K5, is it YOL? Go ahead. KI5 YOL, I'm sorry. Nathan, go ahead.
Not a problem, Bill. You brought up about the Innovato. Very good, inexpensive single board computer. I picked up one myself. It's got all the ham apps on it. In fact, that's why I started up FT8 on. I'm starting to make contacts FT8 with that exclusively set up in my shack, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. A little bit slow when you get too many programs open on it, but what do you expect from a single board computer? AI5, YOL.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Yeah, I'm just getting back active in HF. Been off for about 5 years or so. Got the new Yaesu radio, going to put up an InFed half wave, and I got this Ham Clock for a Christmas present. And it's awesome to monitor propagation and what's going on just right here. It's just really cool part of my shack. Anyone else have any thoughts around propagation in general? VHF, HF, UHF, all the above, any of the modes?
W5CPO. Remember, we're in a solar cycle right now, and it's not going to last forever. You guys that are just getting into HF rigs and talking DX or whatever, another 2 years from now, the bands will go blank, and you don't know what it was like about 2 years ago. Every band out there, with the exception of 80 and 40, there was nothing going on for the most part. So it's time to get into it and start making contacts.
Yeah, good comments, Phil. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Maybe the 10-meter band. We're getting this top of the sunspot cycle the next couple of years, and there's propagation on 6 meters. Talked about maybe putting up a 6-meter repeater here in the Houston area. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. Again, this K5LK Tech Net number 3. Any other comments or questions around propagation? I mean, that's when you talk about technology in our hobby, that's probably the biggest part of it, right? Is we can't contribute without some type of propagation usually, unless it's line of sight simplex that Phil was talking about, and that's even affected by the weather a lot. Got a comment from KI50MW that the Victoria Club guys are planning a system fusion repeater. Anybody know about that or what they're up to?
Comment, W5BSA.
Go ahead, Joe.
I have 2 system fusion repeaters, the original DR1 and the DR2, and I like it. There's a very active system fusion repeater group here in Houston. I don't have it in front of me, but I could bring it to the information to the Tech Net next time, and maybe the guys down there in Victoria might want to get with the guys they're actually in Baytown. And they like it because when they're using their system fusion repeaters, and then they're running the digital mode fusions. The mode is called C4FM, and there's what I like about All-Star is any analog radio will get you in. When you start trying to go system fusion, the repeaters, I'll just be honest, they're very ornery. They don't have the receive sensitivity that the commercial things like we're using now do. And the bottom line is you've got to have, not only do you have to have a Yaesu radio, but you got to have a Yaesu radio that has C4FM. So not poo-pooing it, but it's just know that going in, I guess, maybe will help.
W5ITZ.
Hello there, Bill. Good evening. Go ahead and put your comment about your system fusion, K5LK and TechNet number 3.
Yes, sir. I can add a little bit of information about the Victoria Club and the System Fusion. I am also a member of that club. They are currently in fundraising mode, and they're trying to raise funds to purchase that System Fusion repeater. Plans are, when they hit their goal, is to replace their current 442.300 UHF repeater with that System Fusion repeater, and located on the top of the Citizens Hospital tower, which is kind of on the, I guess what would it be, the east side of Victoria. So they're talking about it like it may potentially be about a 6-month project, but I wish them success, and that'll be exciting for the entire area.
Thank you for that, Bill. Appreciate it very much. And good evening, everybody. Again, this is Bill. My call is K5LK. This is the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. TechNet number 3 meets the first Wednesday of the month at 8 p.m. We have an open forum tonight. We're going to try that out and see how that works in the future. The holidays kind of kept us working real hard over the holidays, which was okay to put a presentation together and send all that out. So we're just going to keep the open Q&A tonight and then get feedback how we'll do it next month. So throw out any other topics, questions around ham radio in general, operating, antennas, equipment, Jason, repeaters, you name it. Bring those Q&A now. K5LK.
One more comment, W5BSA.
Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, this is for Bill. I'll give the Victoria Club a Yaesu Fusion DR1 repeater if they'd like to have it.
Hey, Bill, I will pass that info along. What was the model number of the repeater that you have, sir?
Two models. The first model, I have two of those, and I'll gladly donate them one. It's really good. It works. And it's the Yaesu Fusion DR1. The latest version that's out now is the DR2, but they're very similar, and you can use the whole thing with Fusion, and it's really a great system. That's the reason I got them. Is they have their rooms. So when you go into the room and get set up and get it working right, you're literally getting people from literally all over the world. So it's really a lot of fun, but I'd love to donate one of the ones that I have because it's just sitting here right in front of me. I've been looking for somebody that might put it up.
Well, that's a kind gesture, sir, and that is the dual mode. It will pass analog and C4 traffic. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true. That is correct. The DR1 and the DR2 will both do that. They've got their own little users groups, so you can get a lot of good information and things like that. But I'd love to see it go to a good home and be put on there. That'd be great.
Very good. I will pass that information along and see if I can put y'all in contact. Thanks for that offer, sir. W5ITZ.
Welcome.
KG5BMU. Could you, Joe, can you give me a better explanation? I have no idea what this is. Explain it to me.
I'm going to ask Ned if that's okay, Bill.
Fred, this is K5LK Net Control for tonight's Tech Net number 3. Joe, you want to get just a quick overview on that? Then you can get with Fred directly if needed.
It's just a digital mode. Several years ago, I'll be brief. Several years ago, all the major manufacturers, some went Yaesu Fusion as their digital mode, along with analog, and then you got ICOM, D-Star, and then you got the DMR Club, as I call them, and they're all great. I got DMR sitting right here in front of me, but it's just one of about 5 or 6 digital modes that some people prefer and experiment with and all that. So I'll be glad to tell you more about it, Fred.
I'm sorry to throw that out there, guys. But okay, I'll talk to you offline. Thanks a lot. 5BMU.
Sure, Fred. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for checking in and good question. Okay, this is again K5LK and our Tech Net number 3 for the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. I'm sure we got some folks with some more topics, some questions they'd like to throw out this evening. Please come now.
This is KJ5ADO.
Hello again, Brenda. Go ahead.
So I received a DMR handheld radio, and oh my goodness, it's very different. So if there's anybody out there that can point me to some resources that might help me get started, let's see, I've charged the battery, put the antenna on, and downloaded the software. That's about all I've gotten to.
Brenda, that is a great question. There's several of us that are on this net tonight that got into the DMR boom in around 2017 at the Plano Hamfest. There are a lot of DMR HTs coming in from the Chinese manufacturers. Propagation was low on the HF bands and not a lot of activity on the FM repeaters. So you got a DMR repeater and, a DMR handheld and a little hotspot, as they called it, to connect to the through the internet. And it took off really well, but it's kind of slowed down again. Anybody got any comments about DMR and handhelds and the mode right now? K5LK Tech Net number 3, please come out.
KB5 PBM.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert. Thank you, sir.
Well, you've got the radios, so hopefully, if you have the software to program it, that's the other hurdle that you have to have the software to program it because they're pretty complex to program. And then look for a repeater next to you, a DMR repeater, or you can purchase a hotspot to get you on DMR. So you can either go. There's several hotspots out there you can get for DMR. But probably easiest to find you a repeater. I believe there's one in Pearland. If you're down in the Angleton area, you might want to try that repeater. But that's going to be the other task is either getting a hotspot or finding a repeater. KB5 PBM back to net.
Thank you, Rob, for those comments. Yeah, Brenda, a lot of people that aren't close to DMR repeater bought these hotspots and then it'd plug into a Raspberry Pi and that connected to the internet and you'd get on the different networks. Brandmeister, the largest network. I'll be glad to loan you my hotspot if you'd like to. And if you have an internet connection, I'm sure you do. But I've got a Raspberry Pi hotspot and let you to get on the Brandmeister. It's kind of fun to play with. I'll send you a link as well. You can go on to Brandmeister Network and you can listen to the worldwide nets and everything that's going on there. I'll email you that information.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that information. Yes, and that is something new that I'm learning to play with too. Is my son helped me set up the hotspot during Thanksgiving break, so I've been playing with that. And I actually am close to a repeater in in Freeport, and there's actually one here in West Columbia too. So might need to see what's going on there. So thank you. I can see there's going to be a lot to learn here, but I think it'll be fun. Thank you for the comments tonight. KJ5ADO.
You're quite welcome, and that's what the net's all about, helping each other in the technical part of our hobby and sharing some best practices or worst practices or whatever. So thank you for doing that tonight. Joe, did you still have one more question here before we move on?
Thanks, Bill. Brenda, if you don't mind me asking, what brand is your DMR HT?
It's not an any tone, although that's what it says when you look into the software. I'm trying to think. It's the little robot that has the little hat on top. Oh, Radioddity. That's what it is.
Okay, Bill, you might want to send her the link to Walter's K5WH Zoom room. He can help write the code. He can help her with the code plug for it.
Yep, that's exactly right. We'll get with you, Brenda, and give you some options to learn more about DMR. Okay, K5LK, this is TechNet number 3, an open forum tonight. Anyone else have some questions, some topics around operating, equipment, radios, antennas, whatever? Let's throw them out to the group here.
CRHRC ZTP.
Kilo Alpha 5 Zulu Tango Papa.
Good evening, K5ZTP. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good evening. You know where I'm at. Not quite with it here. Anyway, sorry. My name is Kyle, and appreciate you letting me jump in on the net here. Just throwing out some further information on DMR for folks. There's another great resource of information is the DMRtexas.net website. Mainly repeaters, but got a lot of great information, you know, the machines and what talk groups they have on them and all that. So it's a pretty good website, fairly current. So it could be some there's other links on there to lead you to other things. So DMRtexas.net. Back to net control, KA5ZTP.
Thank you, Kyle. Good information, absolutely, on DMR. Okay, let's throw it back out of here again. Let's see, get additional conversation around anything technology related to ham radio.
KI5UZY question or a topic.
There we go. KI5 is it Uniform Victor Yankee? Go ahead.
Kilo India 5 Uniform Zulu Yankee. I guess y'all saw me share my screen. Is I had one of the members that is newer that is asking about NetLogger. So that's why I shared my screen so that he could see what NetLogger looks like. I don't know if somebody wants to maybe do a brief on NetLogger for any new members or anybody that's newer to ham radio.
Oh yeah, that's great. And the name's Brian, correct, Brian?
Roger that, Bill. My handle here is Brian.
Yeah, I would probably volunteer Mr. Bill W5ITZ to give us a minute or two about NetLogger, because I think it's a great program, and there's opportunities for even somebody like me to be a NetLogger for the Thursday night net here soon. Over to you, Bill, if you don't mind. W5ITZ and K5LK Tech Net number 3.
Yeah, this is W5ITZ. I'd be happy to take that one, Bill. And Brian, if you don't mind, you want to pop it back up on the screen for just a bit as we talk about it. So NetLogger is a piece of software that runs either on a Windows or a Mac Linux-based PC, and it's what we refer to as a logging program. Basically, it lets us check in users to the net. If you're watching on Zoom, you can see here on the left-hand side is the call sign. And then in our database, we have all of the members represented. So if it's a call sign of a member of the club, it shows that information when they check in. So what this allows us to do is the person that is actually calling the net can utilize this as a resource to help keep checked-in members and know what order to call on them. And then it also allows anyone that is monitoring the NetLogger program to see the call signs as well as the names and the locations of the different people that are checking in. Let me let it drop here for just a moment. So ultimately, it kind of helps us run a little bit more organized net, whether we're doing the Tech Net like we're doing tonight or we're doing the Thursday night net. There's a couple little bonuses that come along with using NetLogger. One of those is an almost instant messenger chat window, and we can pop that up on the screen, and it allows us to text chat back and forth between any of the users that are monitoring NetLogger. And a lot of times we'll have very helpful conversations in the chat window to help net control with call signs or answer questions back and forth during the course of the net. It's a free download. There's no subscription required. I have heard that there's some version of the Apple iOS operating system, I think the newest one, that is not quite compatible with NetLogger yet, but I'm sure there will be an update coming to that soon. If you're running a Windows PC, no problem. It installs quickly and easily. And in addition, we also have a video on our website that explains the process all the way from downloading it, installing it, and getting set up to monitor any of the Crossroads networks. So I hope that was helpful. If there's any additional questions, I'll be happy to field them as well. This is W5ITZ.
Thank you, Bill, for that overview. Brian, did that answer your question about NetLogger? I've been using it here. I love to check in on the Thursday night net, open NetLogger, and get over in the almost instant messenger, they call it, window, and we have some fun over there as well. But how about Brian? Any other questions around NetLogger?
KI5UZY, yes, that answers 99% of it. The only other item on there, there's another button up there at the top that's view monitors, that you can view those that are just lurking and have not checked in yet or been checked in by the NetLogger. That's another little useful screen or useful pop-up that's there. Zoom will only let me share one window at a time, so it wasn't able to share the AIM window or the view monitors. I clicked on them, but y'all are not able to see those. But yes, that answered the question, and I think very good. This is KI5UZY, and I'll return it to net. Excellent job, Bill.
Yeah, we got a bill that is really good around NetLogger, and again, I'll just do a little promotion for the club and the Thursday night net, or even this net, the first Wednesday. If you want to participate in a NetLogger, there's a little video, or Bill or any of the other current NetLoggers will be glad to help you. This is K5LK Tech Net number 3 tonight, continuing on with additional questions or topics like to be brought up. Okay, let's see if we can get a couple more here go in before we do some final announcements and late check-ins, and then after the RF net tonight, we'll keep Zoom open for the general reg queue.
I believe I heard KI5OLG doubled with you. Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was been researching antennas for my very small area. I live in a trailer park and it's very crowded. I was looking at end-fed half waves, and I ran across this YouTube video of how to make your 66-foot end-fed half waves work on 80 meters using a 110 microhenry loading coil. Has anybody ever had any experience with that?
That is a great question. That's a good application as well for a little bit of ingenuity and ham radio. Take a typical 80 through 10 meter and 66-foot half wave and make it available for 80 meters. Anybody use that wave with their end-fed half wave to get it to work on 160? Oh, correction. At 40 meters and then use it on 80 meters. Sorry about that. Is that you, Jimmy? Go ahead. NA5D.
Yeah, I'm about the outfit table.
I'm afraid you're a little noisy, Jimmy. Didn't get much of that, but we can get back with Laura and give her maybe some ideas of how to use that in her location.
KJ5ADO.
Try to do here with the TechNet, Laura, is send out an email with some of the questions that maybe need a little more input on. So hopefully we'll get someone that can help you with that situation that you have where you need to try to expand the use of your InFed halfway.
KJ5ADO.
Go ahead, Brenda.
To answer Laura's question, that's what I use at my house. I live on a small lot in town, and I just kind of have it running through the trees, and it works very well for me.
Okay, well, thank you for that input. Really appreciate it. Laura, did that help you a little bit? And we'll try to help you some more as you see if you can expand the use of the frequencies for that InFed halfway.
Yeah, it does, and I haven't bought or made an InFed halfway yet. I've just been in the research phase right now, trying to figure out all my options that I can do for this tiny area. But thank you a lot. That's KI5OLG, back to Net.
Okay, you're quite welcome. This is K5LK, Bill, TechNet number 3. Before we go to late check-ins, anyone else have any questions, comments around technical parts of our hobby?
This is KJ5DPH.
KJ5 is a BPH. This is K5LK. Go ahead.
Checking in a little late here. I had a question about the nano VNA vector network analyzers. The antenna analyzers are quite expensive. I was wondering if anybody's used those to do antenna analysis or not.
Yeah, we've discussed that a couple of times here on our first few TechNets. Anybody on tonight that could help with their experience with the nano VNA?
Hey, G5IAZ.
CPO.
Okay, let's go to IAZ first, and then we'll go over to you, Phil, W5CPO. IAZ, go ahead.
Roger, thank you. I spent a little bit more and bought the one that has N-type connectors. They're a lot more robust connection that's designed for a lot more use. And also, I found the Nano VNA to be a lot more useful when used with software that you run on a computer. And so that's how I use it. You plug the Nano VNA into the computer with a USB cable, and then it gives you a lot better view of what's going on. You cut and paste what's going on with your antenna to a Word file, for example, or use a snipping tool. But I highly recommend you spend some time on YouTube watching about VNAs and what they do, and look at Smith charts, and there's a ton of stuff about nano VNAs on there. So YouTube is your friend on how to learn this. It is a fantastic value as an antenna analyzer and as a general tool for a number of different things, filters and stuff like that. So it will help you grow.
Great comments. Thank you. Phil, do you have anything to add about nano VNAs, W5CPO, K5LK, TechNet number 3?
W5CPO. Ditto everything that Jim said. Only thing I'll add is you have to be careful where you buy them. There's copies of the copies out there. I think probably the best place to get an original, an H4 Nano VNA, that's the $65 one. And the one that Jim's talking about is probably around, I think, 140 or so. That's the one you can hook up to your PC and read it straight off to your laptop. Anyways, try to get them from R&L Electronics. That's Romeo and Lima Electronics. It's a small store, but they sell nothing but the real stuff there. That's all I got.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate the advice. Anybody else on this topic of the Nano VNA want to add anything before we go to late check-ins? Okay, well, that's a popular topic, and we may want to consider maybe doing a net on that, just about the Nano VNAs, and do some demos and et cetera in the next few months around our antenna presentations that we've talked to as well. Okay, before we go to late check-ins and close the net and move over to the Zoom session, anybody else have anything they'd like to see if they can get in under the wire here? Aye, K5LK in the Tech Net number 3.
W5ITZ with the general comment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Just like to mention, we have several users that are new to the Tech Net and maybe new to the network in general. Guys, if you would like, you can sign up for a membership at Crossroads Ham Radio Club, CRHRC.org. No dues are required, and that will get you on the email list so that you get all of the updates and information on a weekly basis about what's going on with the network and the different events as far as scheduling. So we would love to welcome you as a member if you would care to do that. Again, the website to sign up is CRHRC.org. Thanks for the opportunity, Bill. This is W5ITZ.
Thank you, Bill, and been a great net tonight. Before we wrap it up, I wanted to let everybody know, along with Bill's announcements, if you have any questions related to amateur radio technology, operating, whatever, feel free to contact us by emailing technet@crhrc.org. That's technet, TECHNET, at crhrc.org, or just go to the CRHRC Crossroads website, and you can find the TechNet, and you can contact us there as well. Okay, before closing the net, I want to give everyone an opportunity to get checked in. If you haven't already, checked in through free check-in, Zoom, or NetLogger, now is your opportunity to do so. Get checked in, please give your call sign slowly and phonetically twice. This is K5LK.
Golf Sierra Sierra. Kilo Alpha 5, Golf Sierra Sierra, Jane and Finette.
This is Kilo Tango 5 Alpha Charlie. Kilo Tango 5 Alpha Charlie. The name is Amal Alpha Mike Alpha Lima and Katie. No traffic.
This is Kilo Echo 5 Whiskey Foxtrot Delta. That's KE5 WFD Harvey and Angleton.
This is Kilo Juliet 5 Bravo Papa Hotel. Kilo Juliet 5 Bravo Papa Hotel. Jonathan and Angleton.
I got then KA5GSS, KT5AC, KE5WFD, and KGA5BPH. Were those the right call signs I copied? Okay. Anyone else? Late check-ins. All righty. Well, good. Looks like we had about 32, 33 check-ins there as far as we got in that logger. We'll finish wrapping that out. Are you caught up, Phil? Do you need any more information from me? K5LK.
I got them. I'm still entering them.
Alrighty. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that participated in tonight's Tech Net number 3 session. We want to give a big thanks also to our Tech Net committee who helped making tonight's net a success. If you've got any questions regarding the Tech Net, maybe you want to join us, volunteer. We could definitely use all kinds of interest and skills and time that you may have to keep this going, maybe expand it in 2024. You can just send an email to technet@crhrc.org. And now we'll close the RF portion of the net. But for those, we're going to remain in Zoom for General Ragchew for the next bit. We'd love to have you join us. I'll now close this session of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club's monthly TechNet. This is K5LK, returning these repeaters back to normal amateur radio use. Good night and 73.
Does that mean we can unmute now?
I think it's safe to unmute.
Chains are off.
All right. Let's see. Y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, yes, sir.
I ain't got no audio.
I hear you loud and
What
clear.
happened? Turn up volume.
You hear me, Phil?
Now I got you now.
Okay, let me stop recording here.